Welcome, adventurers! You've made it to the Wind Down, the live stream at the end of the Geekverse. It's a chill place to hang out here as the sun sets on another day. We're here to have a little chat, reflect on the day's successes, and prepare for a better tomorrow. So settle in with your favorite beverage this evening.
May I tempt you with a cup of chamomile?
Why, thank you, Dory. I would love a mug of tea this evening, but perhaps you would rather have some coffee, though I do recommend decaf this late in the evening. Or perhaps maybe a cold brew is more your style.
Oh, no, thank you, Dory. A little red wine. For me, I think.
Sounds like an excellent choice, Gandalf. Whatever you want, it's yours. Could I offer you a bourbon, a martini, an old-fashioned, or something perhaps a little stronger? Ugh. Well, I mean, if that's really your thing, then okay, but I hope we can find something a bit better than that.
Romulan ale. Why, Bones, you know this is illegal.
I only use it for medicinal purposes.
All right, now we're talking. I'm Heath, and I'll be your host. Welcome to my home. Come one, come all, writers, artists, sculptors, storytellers, board gamers, streamers, dungeon masters, fans of sci-fi, fantasy, geeks of all kinds. Whatever your fandom, you have a place here. For soon it will be time for another long rest so that we can recover our hit points, our spells, and our abilities, so we'll be ready to fight on for another day tomorrow. But first, we all need a little time to reflect, because you've survived another long, perilous day of wilderness treks, dungeoneering, and random encounters, and that's worth celebrating. Let's tell the tale. It's time for the Wind Down. It will improve your life. It really will. Give it a chance. Here we go. Hey, good evening, everybody. Great to see you. I have been a really weird Saturday. Late night Saturday. There we go. Oh, Nightbot yep, okay. So Stray. I was wondering if well, we'll talk about this moment, just the Nightbot command. I had a crazy Saturday evening. Didn't get in until late. I've been working today on the Zorn's dungeon, but I have not been as productive as I would have liked to have been today. So I haven't done quite as much since the last time we've been on stream, but I have done some things, including getting a combat simulator going, so we can look at some of the combat. I didn't get that logged in. I didn't get that built into the game itself. I've got it standing as a standalone simulator so that we can test it. Because I really wanted to go ahead and start writing combat stuff. So I started writing combat stuff, and I'll show you where I got to with everything. So we've got Dave. Welcome, Dave. We've got Stray. Stray was just testing out the Bang Spawn again. Got the Penniless Dwarf Miner. That one is here. Oh, it looks like they both came in. Okay, wait. So did it... for testing purposes, Stray had done the Bang Spawn command, the exclamation point spawn, which is how you create a character here, exclamation point spawn, just before the stream had started. And actually, I don't know how it's going to work. I was like, I wonder whether that's, I don't think that should take. I think you have to have, I think we have to have Nightbot join the stream, and Nightbot can only do that when it's actually live. So like in the waiting room before the stream starts, the spawn command probably should not work. But then it looks like, actually, Stray got two characters in here this evening. Here we go. A Penniless Dwarf Miner, and then a Rugged Wizard's Apprentice, both of which are uncommon, that came in here. So maybe what happened was that Nightbot picked up the first command and ran it because they were, there's a 30-second global cooldown on that. So Nightbot did report that the Penniless Dwarf Miner is here, but not the Ragged Wizard's Apprentice. I wonder what went on. The Ragged Wizard's Apprentice, look at that. Oh, here we got Sable Phoenix just got an Outcast Elf Apprentice Scribe. Oh, rare character. Charisma 16. The Ragged Wizard Apprentice Stray, the Stray rolled up, has an intelligence of 16. I'm probably going to change this up because I think the font is too small. I have it like this, but I can zoom in. So this is probably better than what I had on Wednesday because I can just zoom, but I'm probably going to have to change up the CSS in general and just make this a little bit larger, or maybe twice the size or something to make it a bit more readable. But if I do just zoom in, I think that's better. than it probably was on Wednesday. So we currently have 25 characters in the tavern. Some of those are wanderers, and wanderers are the ones that I put in through kind of a backdoor system for testing. I was using wanderers to run the combat system. But okay, let's go from here. Let's think about what kinds of things that I add in. I've got a whole bunch of stuff on the punch list. So the little quality of life stuff that we had last time probably did not get much of any of that added in. But I tried to press forward a little bit. So here we have the tavern. So we got people here in the tavern. We got 25 people, including the wanderers in here. So our next step, let's see, is Better with Bacon here? Or Stray's just calling out? Oh, no, Better with Bacon is here. Welcome, Bacon and Sable. So we have got everybody in the tavern, 25 people in the tavern. The next step is the holding cell. So if I come over here to the holding cell, I can hit draft the party, and I should select 12 random characters from the tavern to come in here to go into the blood well. So there, okay. My penniless acolyte, Better with Bacon's dust-covered man-at-arms. Oh, wanderer, Dave's ill-equipped bandit. My overworked city guard. Another wanderer. Okay, a lot of wanderers coming in. That's fine. Just to test, PH Arbex's battered bounty hunter. I'm antiquarian's assistant. Yeah, I kind of overloaded it for combat assistant. Oh, the anxious elf minstrel just showed up. Okay, and so this is where you can hit the bang greed or bang zeal. Everybody has, by default, a zeal of 3 and a greed of 3. Both of those go from 1 to 5. High zeal, aggressive and brave. Low zeal, cautious and cowardly. High greed is loot obsessed and reckless, and then low greed is mission focused and selfless. So this tells us also we got 48 total hit points in this party with an average hit points of 4. So we can come in here. So if I think I can change up mine, like if I wanted my guys to be zeal, my guys are sitting at zeal 2 right now. If you have more than one, it's zeal space 5. That was on the list that maybe I should make like bang zeal 5 work, but yeah, exactly. There you go. Put the space in there, and now the characters update. I still have it so that you can have more than one character in the holding cell. And so if you bang greed or bang zeal, all of your characters update. Now, okay, we go from there over to the blood well. So here's the blood well. I did some more work on here, and I was getting to the point, like, I think this was Thursday. Then Thursday afternoon, I had to do a whole bunch of yard work. I started doing yard work for the season. But on after the stream, I was like, all right, I want to work on moving to the AI to run the blood well. And basically what I realized is that I needed to do a whole lot more work on the geometry of the blood well itself. I couldn't really encode the AI to run all the creatures and things until I had a much greater understanding of the geometry and topology of the blood well itself. And that is challenging, and there were some other things I had to do, and I said, okay, I wanted to kind of move on to combat, so I worked on the combat simulator. But I go over here, and I say deploy to well. Everybody who was in the holding well, that one did not work. I got a database desync. I wonder if I accidentally took the the database access codes out of this. Should have tested that before the stream. Let's see. Let me see if I can find out what this is really fast. Let me try this. Well, wait a minute. Let's see if Gemini can help that out briefly. But anyway, I did a little bit of stuff in order to get the initiative working. So I was like, what's the very next thing I have to do? I have to get the initiative for all the characters working. And so I was able to do that. Oh, hey, BGD. Hey, definitely hit. Let's see. Let's get BGD a character in here. I'm going to go back over to the tavern. Sable Phoenix has a haggard gnome apprentice illusionist. Hey, BGD, hit exclamation point spawn, bang spawn, and create a character, and let's get you a character in the database. See what you roll up. It's just exclamation point spawn while the system tries to see what. Here we go. Here, okay. Remote server returned code 400. What is that? Returned code 400. Try again. Bang punch. We need to add that one in. So I'm not sure. So it looks, I think that, yeah. So try again, Chris. Oh, there we go. There we go. It's in. Okay, a haggard mountebank. There we go. So did that throw it out there? Yes, there we go. A haggard mountebank is methodically sharpening a rusty blade. So there you go. A haggard mountebank is in the system level 0. Average statistics, a dagger. 4 hit points, though. Solid character. Solid character. I wonder. Well, okay, I'm not going to worry about trying to get the blood well operational right this second. So over here with the blood well, I did get it to the point. I think I changed up some numbers or some column names or field names in the database, and so it's throwing this error. But what I did get to, you saw last time that it does bring in all of the heroes over here, and it generates monsters and puts the monsters over here in the threats. And then we had the radial-looking blood well sitting over here. And I did go through a process where I came up with center points and coordinates for each of the zones in the blood well, and it would locate the characters at a rudimentary level, by telling you, the little dots, which ones are in which zone. And that was working. And so that's good. And then we went to initiative, which is the thing I did after last stream, went to initiative, and then it rolls it builds the initiative deck. We're using an initiative deck right here. Every character has a card in the initiative deck. High and low dexterity can give you additional cards, but you don't go multiple times around. You just go on the top card that you draw and discard the next one. Or particularly low dexterity can cause you to go slower, which forces you to put your card in the lower half of the deck or lower quarter of the deck. Or if you're really slow, you've got to put it at the bottom of the deck. So every round, a new initiative, the initiative deck is created again, and you just draw from the top. So you don't ever know what order you're going in. So you can't plan ahead like, oh, well, we know that, this guy's fallen down and is, incapacitated or something. And I know I have another round or something. That's not how it works, because you'll never know. Everybody gets to act once per round, but you don't know the order. But it would build up that deck, draw the top card, and highlight that person in gold, saying it's their turn to go. So that's where I got to, and then it was like, all right, well, now it's time to actually have that person do something through some type of AI system, and that's when I realized I had to get much more sophisticated with how the geometry of the blood well was. And so I'm having to actually draw out a vector file with all of the edges specified of all of the different zones, and that's difficult because it's a radial stage. The blood well is radial, so I'm having to deal with different arcs and things. It's not like the Hero Quest board where everything's a square. Of course, I'm doing something a little bit more difficult, right? Didn't realize that when I was doing it. But I'm having to actually vectorize all the geometry of the blood well before I continue there. So that's what I got stuck right there. But I did want to be able to run some combat. So here's the combat simulator. It has been. Thank you, Chris. That's a lot of progress. Very clever. Thank you. And I think we're getting there. Now I'm trying to like hone in on this, but I guess I was way too optimistic that I'd be able to program some combat in like over a week or something like that. I was not. It's going though. But okay, so here's the combat simulator. So this should work. Let's make sure it was working a moment ago. Okay, the combat simulator is working. So the combat simulator, this allows us to stick in some of the different characters, and I just have it selecting a one of my wanderers, which have been put into by the system automatically, or I've been put in them automatically. That way I don't have to kill characters that you guys are putting in. And then I've got over here this this monster, and I've got this large green gel. But we can change all of the combat statistics. So current hit points, stamina, temporary hit points, which are health points here, the reach, melee modifier, missile modifier, ranged die. So okay, this is like your ranged attack die right here. This is your melee attack die right here. And then you've got what is your save versus death. This afternoon, I really spent a lot of time working on the death mechanic and the healing mechanics. So con modifier, hit die. This is your timer for your death. If you drop dead or drop to 0 hit points or below, whether you're alive or dead. If you're shooting a missile weapon, what's your different ranges in zones? What type of armor are you wearing? Are you wearing a helmet or are you wearing a helmet? If so, a half helmet or a full helmet? And then do you have a shield? And if so, what type of shield? And then this is the printout down here for all of the wounds. So that is what we have over here. I changed up the helmet. I changed up the helmet because it was the case that the shield would help you as long as you were aware, and you could would absorb a certain number of points of damage, which you can see right here. DR buckler has damage reduction of 1. The small shield has a damage reduction of 1. The medium shield has a damage reduction of 2, and the large shield has a damage reduction of 3, which is applied as long as you were aware and you were being attacked from the front or the flanks. Which, by the way, you can see up here, angle of attack. I can now specify what angle the attack is coming in to determine whether or not we are getting attacked on the front, the rear, the flanks, and thus whether you're being attacked on the shielded side or the unshielded side or whatever. So very old school right there. So we can specify the angle of the attack, whether or not we have line of sight, whether or not the target is aware. But then also the shields you can bust. So if you want to negate all damage from an attack, you can use one of your shield durability points to bust up the shield and absorb all of the attacks. Shields and helmets are very important. And then we had, as a separate a separate system, the helmet, which would allow you to absorb a critical hit. But the problem is, oh, hey, Doc Flamingo, welcome. 24 months. You know, I'm really also hoping to be able to get into the YouTube API and be able to like put members and stuff, like do things for members in the database and things like that. I think that would be really special and neat. Actually, finally make membership do something like, because I do appreciate you guys. So it'd be really neat to be able to put the membership stats and things like that into the Zorn's dungeon. But the helmet was too conditional. That was the problem. If the helmet could only be busted if you had a critical rolled against you, it wasn't working when I was rolling that, because you'd be hit by like potentially a lot of damage and potentially die, but you still have this nice shiny helmet on your head. And it just felt like, now wait a minute, I got, you know, the critical hits bypass the shield. The idea was the helmet does not get bypassed for the critical and can save you from a critical, But even if you get hit by like 7 points of damage from a non-critical attack, I just felt like you should be using your helmet against it. So your helmet can now only be used, or your helmet can now be used anytime you have suffered an attack of 5 health points or above. Okay, 5 health points or above, whether or not that's a critical or not. Okay. So if it's a normal critical, or but even if it's a critical, but it's still just 1 point of damage, you can't use your helmet. But that's a big attack, a big hit that's hitting you for 5 or more points of damage. So you can be killed by like death, or you can take death from death by 1,000 cuts. If you get cut 1 hit, 2 hit, 3 hit, 2 hit, 1 hit, and die that way, your helmet won't help you. But if you get hit with any large attack, then you can sunder your helmet. And I have also the absorption here. The helmet does not absorb all damage, but it absorbs a lot. The half helm absorbs 8 points of damage. So if you do have more than 8 points of damage coming at you, the helmet will only absorb 8. The full helm can absorb 15. So that's a further difference between the half helm and the full helm. And of course, those can also be dented to keep from being stunned. But I don't have the stunned functionality working right now. I haven't added in weapon properties and conditions and things like that. All right, so let's see. I've got this a weary antiquarian's assistant. Well, let's say 4 hit points. Okay. The die timer, the death timer, by the way. Well, I'll just show you as we go here. This guy's probably going to get killed. Let's see if we can kill this guy. So he is wearing light armor. He's being attacked by this gel. Let's go ahead and just say the gel has a melee of 4. And then he'll be attacked from the front, and we're going to do a monster melee attack. Okay, so what happened? The attacker, the green gel, attacks the antiquarian assistants. We have determined position. He's being attacked from the front, relative 0 degrees. Target is aware and facing the threat. Target wears light armor, so applying a shift of 1 step to the attacker's D4. So the attacker generally has a D4, but because he's wearing light armor, which is less than medium, that damage die is actually stepped up because everything defaults to medium armor. So in this case, our antiquarian is wearing light armor less than medium. So the gel will roll D6 against him. Rolling the attack, the gel rolled a 1 for 1 base damage. That's not a crit. Mitigation phase, survival check. Well, we just dropped to 1 hit point, by 1 hit point. So we should have, we have 3 current hit points now. And I'm tracking all of the wounds now. So the wound is 1 point of acid damage. And it's hot. This word hot right now means it's less than an hour old. I like tracking individual wounds. Wait, what? He said he would trust me with a password at 40. Or you want special access to the Zorn's dungeon system? So, that was probably a lot. But each wound is being tracked individually. Let's have the so we know this is a 1-point wound. The gel over here is doing acid damage. So you keep track of how many points of damage it is, what type of damage it is, and then also when. I have the database stamping the time that you receive any wound. So each wound is individual, and you can also tell exactly what time you took that wound. Because I was programming in this afternoon real-time damage or healing, real-time healing. And so the rule is that we're not doing real-time damage tracking or real-time healing or anything while we're in the dungeon. There's going to be a different rule for while you're in the dungeon. But in the dungeon, in the time, as long as you can receive critical care for a wound within an hour of when it happened, then you have the potential to get 1 hit point back. And I haven't programmed in the critical care rules yet. But that's why it's important to know when you were actually injured, because there's going to be a timer on, well, can I benefit from critical care? So we gave this 1 point wound over here. Let's have the PC attack back. It's not going to be terribly effective because we've got a melee die of D2. I think this is a wizard kind of character. We'll say PC melee. And I don't think that we are dealing with, because I don't have all the weapon properties in, I don't have things like damage resistance in. But like what happened here? Not a lot's happening here. Target is aware. Target wears medium armor. Oh, I kind of meant for him to be wearing no armor. The gel should be wearing no armor. But that's fine. We had medium armor. Closing required. I did put in the closing rules that PH was instrumental in helping to design. So closing is required. The attacker's reach of 1 is less than the defender's reach of 2. So this antiquarian assistant has a dagger that's a reach of 1, but this gel has some pseudopods here that can reach 2. So he's got to take a -1 penalty to the attack roll for trying to push past this pseudopod. We rolled a D2. Natural 2 was rolled. It's a small weapon, so it cannot score critical hits. I did work quite a bit. I forgot about that too. I guess I have done quite a bit. I just didn't get to move past this and implement it into the blood well. But I did work quite a bit also with critical hits, trying to get around the idea that because if you're rolling a smaller size die, it can be more likely to score a critical hit because a critical hit is the highest value of the die. And critical hits are especially important here because if you roll the highest value on your attack die, you roll your critical hit die, and that damage is applied directly to the health of your opponent, skipping stamina. Right. So I wonder why we ended up with 2 mods. I'm not exactly sure why we had -2, but that took him down to 0 damage. Let's have him do that again. This time we're going to drop the armor class of the pseudopod down to none. So the antiquarian's assistant should be able to roll a higher value die. He should be rolling a D6. So this time, the gel is wearing no armor. We're shifted up 2. The final die shifted to D4 because there is a stop at D3. I forgot about that. So going up 2 steps from D2 goes to a D4. Closing is required. So we're going to roll at -1. Rolled a 4. Needed a 4 on the D4. It means a potential critical right there. But then what I did, if you have a D4, I said roll a D6. And you've got to roll a 6 in order to actually have that crit. That way, our floor on crits is like 16%. You can't have 25% crits if you're rolling a D4, or 33% crits if you're rolling a D3. So the attack calculation here. Why are we having this -2 mod? Why a -2? Mod 2 is this I wonder if that has something to do with closing damage or something like that. No critical damage. I think I just have the system here give them bludgeoning damage right now. Target takes 2 HP of damage. Current HP is now 8. So that was a 2-point bludgeoning wound on our gel monster. Let's have the PC get hit again. Okay, now the PC is at -2 hit points. You know, I've wondered if it should be Gel or Gel. I was actually thinking about that on the way to the winery like a couple of days ago. Because I think, I just used this as a Zelda. I pulled it from Zelda. And I just always pronounced it Gel. But then as I was sitting here writing this, and I was like, you know what? I actually wonder if that's Gel. So it definitely could be Gel. And maybe it should be. But I had just always said Gel when I was playing Zelda. But I think you could be right. It's a lot of people might say that Gel. Because I was thinking about that myself. So is it a Gel or is it a Gel? I don't know. Or maybe I should just remove an L or something and make it a Gel. So in this case, now we have a problem with our antiquarian assistant here. Now the antiquarian's assistant has taken a 5-point wound and it's hot. Oh, Stray says Gel. Yeah. It's a slime, right? Yeah, this is some kind of like slime thing. I'm sure it's supposed to be Gel or Gel and was just translated poorly from the original Japanese. Could have been. Okay, so now what happened here? Target wears light armor, applying a 1-shift step to the attacker's D4, so he's wearing a D6, or rolling a D6. The gel, whatever it is, I'm just going to say gel for now. The gel rolls a 5 here. That's not a crit. Total damage reaching the hero here is 5 damage because he has no stamina here and no temporary hit points. So we had to take all of that on the chin. Target takes 5 points of damage. The current hit point is now -2, and that's fine. We can go negative. Wound generated a 5-point major hit, major wound. So it doesn't say major up here, but it's still tracking that. It needs to, though, in the wound log. I think it actually does in the database wound log. This will say, 5-point major acid damage and track exactly when you got it. So because this person went to -2, they need to check for death. So wound generate mortal threat. There we go. Mortal threat right here. Death save triggered. Base 14, and this is old school save, so it's number or above. Modified by con modifier. Our Antiquarian's Assistant doesn't have a con modifier. So 14 plus overkill is 16. So since I'm at -2, since I'm down at -2 hit points, I've got to add 2 to my death save, which means I need to roll at least a 16. I rolled a d20 and rolled a 2. Oh, so roll of 2 is lower than my target number of 16. Instant lethality. That Antiquarian's Assistant is now dead. So that is, status dead. That killed the Antiquarian's Assistant. I am also, we're going to make it, maybe we need another enemy that's a moose. It's not gelatin, or I don't go to the ice cream shop for a gelato. I think that's a good point too. Also, it's only alive if it's Jello. Yes. So gel. Okay, so that killed the Antiquarian's Assistant. So the Antiquarian's Assistant now also, I made sure to log the time of death. So you can't tell death just by hit points because you can go negative. So we went down to -2, so had to apply a -2 modifier to our death save. And that was immediate. There was no waiting around to say, oh, we got to roll 3 death saves. We got death saves until we lose 3 of them or something. That's not happening. As soon as you go to 0 hit points or below, you have to immediately make a save versus death, modified by the amount of overkill. If you fail that, you are dead. So that's what happened to our Antiquarian's Assistant right now. Let me refresh this, and let's give... Okay, we have an outcast locksmith's apprentice, 2 hit points. This is level 0, so it's brutal. But let's go ahead and give the person a half helmet and a small shield. Okay? And now let's have this. We'll give them a D3 combat damage. But let's say they are snuck up. Or, well, let's just try this right here first. At front angle of attack, monster melee, so we can see how well the shield and the half helmet work. So the monster goes to melee. Oh, man. This person dropped dead instantly. Also went down to -2. Let's see what happened. Oh, wow. Okay, so the attacker attacks from the front. Target wears light armor, applying a shift of 1 step to the attacker's D6. Final attack roll shifted to D8. Rolling an 8. So the gel rolled an 8, which is a critical hit. So stepping down 1 for the critical die, that was a D6 that was rolled, and a 4 was rolled. Critical hit. So shields cannot be used to mitigate the blow. I was like, wait, so what happened? He should have used his shield to mitigate that blow. But he's not able to use the shield, even though he was attacked from the front, because critical hits cannot be shielded against. So now we execute the damage funnel right here. This poor, locksmith's apprentice has 12 points of damage coming in. Massive trauma threat. Target sunders their half helmet, which is absorbs a maximum of 8. So this is because it was an attack of 5 or more damage. We can sunder the helmet. That absorbs 8 points of damage to save their flesh. The blow is massive. The helmet shatters. 4 points of damage blows through into the flesh. Target avoids being staggered due to the pain. I haven't really added that rule in. But then the target takes 4 direct HP of damage, but only had 2 hit points to begin with. So the target is now at -2. So that was a massive, like, what, so we've got wrote it up here. Yeah, this person ended up taking 4 points of acid damage, and it killed them, dropping down to -2, which means that we now must save versus death. Base save 14 plus overkill of 2. Death save for this 0th level character is a 16. Rolled a d20, hit a 6, dead instantly. So it is brutal. The first time, a couple of times I rolled, I didn't get a whole lot of stuff there. But it can be brutal. Let's do that again. I'm going to refresh. Okay, a Haggard Bandit has 3 HP. I'm just having the gel attack him. Melee die. This D6 is pretty rough, especially when you're not wearing armor. The Haggard Bandit, light armor. Well, let's go ahead and put him on medium armor. Let's give him medium armor, a half helmet, and a small shield. And now he's going to take another hit from this gel. So the monster melees. And what happened here? Okay. Wearing medium armor, so we stay with the attack roll of the D6. The gel rolled a 3. That is not a critical damage. The target is shielded from the front, using shield with a passive DR of 1. Passive shield DR applied, remaining base damage 2. So now, I had to come up with ways for the AI to decide when to actually break the shield. So I did put in a lot of rules about that. So I guess a lot of stuff was done. So here, the AI survival instinct kicks in. So look ahead. This is a high threat because, what did we say? We had 3 hit points. So this attack that's incoming would remove 67% of the target's hit points. I realized I couldn't use or write out the shield strategy or the helmet strategy purely by the raw number of damage incoming because, well, like in this situation, losing 2 health points when you have 3 is kind of a big deal. Losing 2 when you have 8 or 10 is not. So the system calculates what percentage of the hit points are going to be lost and then decides what to do with the shield. What is right? Needs 1 to 5 to splinter. Oh, right. So here, once you've taken 67% of the damage, we actually conduct a roll at that point to see if the player decides to splinter the shield. In this case, the target did sacrifice the shield. Durability drops the shield by 1. Remaining base damage is 0. That saved that character's life. No wounds. Now no shield. Was that? I think I had a buckler there or something. I forget. But anyway, so the shield right there absorbed the damage and prevented the bandit's death. So that worked like it. Let's reduce. I got 10 hit points on this gel. Let's see what this bandit can do back. And this gel needs to be wearing no armor, has no shield, no helmet. PC melee. So now we are rolling a D6 because he has D3 damage up to 2 steps is D6. Oh, does have to close though. We still have the closing rule here. I don't think I actually have the engage rule written in yet. But trying to push past. Oh, rolled a 1. Oh man, these gels are tough. So yes, we will need more people to take out this gel. Let's try this one more time. Monster melee. I think I may have just killed the. Oh no, the Haggard Bandit was all right. Taking 2 hit points of damage. Current HP is now 1. Fight back. PC melee. Closing is I think is difficult. Ordinarily, when I was rolling this, like people were dying all the time. But we rolled another 1 in our attack roll. I want to run this multiple times so that we can actually calculate statistics of like, okay, how often does like this particular character win or this particular type of monster win? I started to load in a bunch of different kinds of monsters, and I loaded in a few, but then I realized, let me not do that right now. Let me just come up with this control panel with all of our different stats on there so we can just play around with it. I'm going to reset this, and I'll just show you that, okay, if the target's coming in, this is, okay, the dust-covered gnome apprentice illusionist, this guy's going to die. If I can put a helmet on, and let's give him a small shield, but what happens when our gel here, let's drop the gel to a D4 die, and the gel this time is coming in from the dead rear. Monster melee. So now, attack coming in from the rear, target's defense is overwritten, target wears light armor, applying 1 shift to the attacker's D4. We're now at D6, roll of a D6. Oh, so as a result, because he's being attacked from behind, the bad guy is attacking with advantage because he's unaware. So the attacker rolls with advantage, rolled a 6 and a 2, keeping the 6. Critical hit, rolling a D4 for crit, so 4 points of crit damage. Critical hit, passive shields cannot be used to mitigate the blow, but I was being attacked from behind anyway, so one of those would override. Shield logic bypassed, target is completely unaware of the attack vector. Total damage, reaching health points is 10. Massive trauma threat. Sunder half helmet. You can use your half helmet when attacked by rear. You can use your helmet when attacked from the rear. I mean, that just seems to make sense. So target sunders their half helmet, absorbs 8 points of damage. 2 blows through into the flesh. Target dropped to 0. This person only had 2 hit points anyway. Low hit points at level 0. So dropped to 0, taking a 2-point minor acid damage. No overkill. Oh, but died anyway. Save versus death is 14 plus overkill 0. Target number 14 rolled a d20, rolled a 12. Gnome died. So I can't wait to be able to simulate entire Bloodwell runs. Because I want to know what happens. I mean, I'm expecting a lot of these 0th level characters to drop, as they should, in like a funnel like this. But like, they're going to have a lot more actions, than the bad guys are. And I want to know, like, what happens. Like, we need some stats on what happens when 12 of our, level 0 guys go in. Let's see. Yeah, the gels are, and I think the gel is even supposed to have resistance to piercing damage, which is not currently being taken into account. These could become the main bad guys. Probably having so many hit points and stuff is too much. But I was just trying to make sure that all the logic, and I'm still not sure I've got that completely worked out yet. But I'm getting close, as you can see. I'm getting close to having all the logic worked out to be able to have a combat like script that will run whenever one thing attacks another. I mean, I'm pretty close. This is a pretty sophisticated script, even as it is, and it's not taking everything into account. And so I wanted to try to be able to practice with it to work out bugs before adding more stuff like the conditions and also the different effects that weapons have and things like that. So that's where I got to. Oh, you know what? Later, I wonder if later I could put this up online, so if people wanted to play with it and like look for bugs or whatever, or see what happens when people get hit for what, or how combat works. I wonder if I could do that. Let me make note of that. Put up combat simulator. I need to clean it up a little bit, but I might be able to do that. Simulator to put up or public use. Could possibly do that. Okay, so what else was going on? Well, I said I was working on healing rules. So, and I think I'm going to go back and I'm going to start working through the blood well one step at a time. But I was still trying to wrap my head around everything here. So there is another one. There's another page here that's called the winch room. So the winch room is where you go after the blood well. So once the blood well is finished and either all the bad guys are dead or all of the level 0 characters are dead, one or the other, well, the blood well ends and then everyone will be extracted to the winch room. Oh, you know what? I probably need to put some guys in the winch room. Let me go over here. Let me just send all the wanderers to the winch room. And I can do that programmatically on the back end. Let me see if I can get this code. All right, we'll see if this works. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I just threw the wanderers into the winch room. And then I lost my... Okay, here we go. I'm glad you're liking it. I've been having a lot of fun creating it. It's a massive project. Not only writing the rules, but then trying to encode all the rules. But then what happens here is we're going to have some more stats up here. Right now, I just have like extracted and KIA and whatever. We'll get some stats up here about the total number of people who died and whatever. And also probably like total amount of gold extracted, how many hit points, how many experience points you got. And then probably also, I think down here, we need to have like how many XP that individual person got, and then also how much gold they came out with, and also special treasure and stuff like that. So we'll have like basically the winch room will be a complete after action report. I need to simulate some wounds. Add some random wounds to the wanderers. Let me cook up some SQL to have that done. Let's see. Let me go in and see if I can give these people some wounds. Okay, so here, this is what would look more like what it looks when it comes up. Can we pretend? Yeah, that has rolled a lot, it seems like, especially you. Yeah, that sounds good. Stray says, can we pretend that playing Bones is just us playing D&D? I want to add some more of those in, some more different things for it to say when they come up. But right here, so if you are wounded at the conclusion of the blood well, you'll come in here to the winch room. And as you can see, I've got the wounds listed as well. So I need your gold, I need your XP listed, whatever. And right now this code stops you at 1 hit point, which it should not do because you can go negative. Like obviously this person right here has taken in this simulated wounds, quite a bit. 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 points of damage. So this person should be at -7 HP. This is basically what I got to about 2 hours before the stream started. And then I went and took a shower and got something to eat. Yeah, this eager wizard's apprentice only had 1 hit point to begin with. So taking 5 point acid damage. I need to say major. A 5-point acid damage wound, a 2-point necrotic damage wound, and the wound is hot, which means it is eligible to have critical care applied. If somebody has critical care, they can do that in the dungeon, but only as a long action. We're going to use long actions and short actions, and while monsters are on the table, while hostiles are on the table, you can't take long actions. Like you can't, try to, bandage up and patch up somebody's wound. You can try to stabilize them if they're dying. Oh, I didn't talk about the dying rules. You can try to stabilize them as a short action, run in and stabilize them real fast. but you can't like take care of all of their, try to patch up all their wounds. So every wound, and that's why it's another reason it's important to try to, or to take care of wounds individually, is because each wound individually is eligible for one try of critical care. And if you succeed on the critical care roll, then it's reduced in severity by 1 point. So a 1 point wound can have critical care applied, but you only get to try once with critical care. So in the dungeon, I've got each wound is being tracked, whether or not it's eligible for critical care or not. As soon as it's inflicted, it is. But as soon as someone tries critical care on it in a dungeon, if you're long action eligible, then regardless of whether you succeed or fail, that wound is no longer eligible for critical care. But once you get to the winch room right here, you will see I've got this button up here that says deploy goblin medics. And I don't think this button is functional right now, but we'll be able to take a look at everybody's stats, look at all of the after action report right here, and then press the deploy goblin medics button. And then all of the goblin medics will run in and will perform critical care on every eligible wound. It's really the least that Zorn can do for you after, you being their entertainment, in the blood well and everybody watching and putting your life on the line. He doesn't provide magical healing, but there are goblin medics on standby so that once you are brought back to the winch room, if you have any hot wounds that are still eligible for critical care, well, the goblins, they just have a 3 and 6 check. It's only a 50-50 chance right now. We'll see how that goes. But every goblin can come in and roll their 3 and 6 check on every wound that's still hot here in the winch room and try to patch you up. I don't think this does anything right now. Triage in progress. No living patients. No, that's not right. Yeah, so that's not working right now. But that'll be one button that we're gonna hit. Boom, and then we'll come in here and patch everybody up as well as we can before they move on. Dave says, you're teaching AI to status and calculate what it will take to eliminate us. Clear. Well, everybody yells like, you get back to the winch room. It's like, medic, medic, medic. Get these goblin medics in here. So press that button. We'll get everybody patched up. I mean, I do want this to go by rather quickly because the idea is to be able to run lots of characters through the blood well on a live stream. And then the next button to press will be sort and dismiss. And so at that point, you will be sorted into I believe there are 3 different places a character can go once getting back to the winch room. If the character is dead, then the character will go to the graveyard. And there is no way to recover from death. So death is permanent. I'm not putting in any kind of resurrection magic or things like that. So every time your character enters the blood well, the character will be at risk, or a dungeon later on. If you enter the blood well as a level 0 character, you may still enter blood wells at level 1. I'm not sure. But then later, I should probably make some kind of actual dungeon or something. I was thinking about how to do that when I was like, oh, now how have I got to code this blood well with all of its edges and walls and things? And I was like, actually, it would be easier to do a boxy dungeon. So I might do that later. But okay, so if I hit sort and dismiss, and this button isn't working right now either, but then I will hit that, all dead characters will go to the graveyard, which will be another page that we'll be able to look over and see who everybody who is dead. I am logging a timestamp on exactly when the character is dead. I've got the timestamp on each wound, and I've got a timestamp on when the character is turned dead. That way we'll be able to come up with a listing in order of the most recently dead characters, on the graveyard stream. If you are uninjured, then you're going to go to the stable. So we will send that to the stable. So if people have more than one character, the character ends up stabled. You've got it. Oh, we want to have some type of thing right here that if you get to level 1, Probably, I think I'm going to end up having level 0 have some kind of negative number of experience points. So we'll just calculate the negative number of experience, how many experience points you got. If you get to 0 experience points, then boom, you become a level 1 character. That needs to be displayed here in the winch room that, okay, you made it to level 1. Congratulations. In that case, you were also stabled. That character is also stabled. But then I also have the infirmary. So if the character has injuries, then the character goes to the infirmary. And this is when I was talking about having real-time healing, because I was adopting, and we've talked about this on stream before, the Hackmaster's rules for healing. Which I have right over here to reference. So this says, so your wounds are going to heal in real time. Hey, Charlie. Your wounds heal in real time when your character is stabled in the infirmary or in the tavern, right? So time will be passing even if we're not playing live on stream. The database itself, I put a script in the database to look through everybody's wounds every day and apply healing to them, so that even if we're not logged in, whatever, the characters will be healing according to this rate. This says, this is basically, this is what I programmed in. So without the intervention of divine or aid or first aid, each wound heals in a number of rest days based on the amount of damage suffered. Thus, a 4-point wound takes 4 days of rest to regain a hit point and become a 3-point wound. That's why the severity of the wounds matters and why we're tracking individual wounds. So you would much, much prefer to take 4 1-point wounds than a single 4-point wound. You want to be, you want the levels of your injury to be as low as possible, because if you've got a 4-point wound, it will take 4 days of rest to regain a hit point and become a 3-point wound. After 3 more days of rest, another hit point returns and the injury becomes a 2-point wound. Note, however, that individual wounds heal in parallel. Thus, a character with 4 individual 5 hit point wounds recovers at the same time as a character with a single wound of the same severity. Right? So if you have 4 5-point wounds, you will heal at the same time. They will all heal at the same time. So, for example, Ugaz, the dwarf survives a brigand attack. He takes 3 wounds in 1 scrape that causes 3 points of damage, 1 that causes 5, and another one's a trifling point of injury for just 1. So in order to recuperate, he must recuperate for 6 days for the 3-point wound, 15 days for the 5-point wound, and 1 day for the 1-point wound. Of course, since all the wounds heal simultaneously, he will be completely healed in 15 days. So the system is going to automatically apply the natural healing rate. Now, that just applies to health points. Remember, we have stamina. Stamina loss does not represents other things than actual physical damage. Stamina is going to come back much easier. After brief rests, you can catch your breath and get back stamina. To me, that's another major advantage of dividing between stamina and your health points, is that you can be a bit more brutal with the health points when you're actually losing meat. We can be much more forgiving with the stamina points. And then, like I said, the system is already coded to heal these characters in real time. It should be doing that now. So if somebody, I'm still running tests right now, but if somebody were wounded right now, every night the system should look for your wounds and heal them. So speeding up healing time. In addition to the divide between the stamina and the health points, and critical care. So critical care gets you back 1 point if successful per wound. So healers in the dungeon are going to be a big deal. You can also enter nursing or go under the care of a healer. And that was why I said there's a third place to go, not only getting stabled, but the infirmary. Or the graveyard. If your situation is sufficiently severe, you go to the graveyard. But if you have the money, and I haven't figured out exactly how much this costs or not, but when we press sort and dismiss, it will decide whether or not you have enough money to go to the infirmary. Because if you go to the infirmary, then you will be under the care of qualified nurses who have actual nursing skills and healing skills that are beyond the critical care type of battlefield medicine that the PCs have. And so right now I have it coded that you can go in there and be under the care of an apprentice healer, a novice healer, and care by the novice healer reduces the number of days it takes to restore 1 hit point worth of damage per wound by 1 day. So, for instance, a 4 hit point wound would ordinarily take 10 days to heal. 4 days plus 3 days plus 2 days plus 1 day. That's 10 days to heal. But a novice healer at the infirmary can reduce this to 7 days. So taking 1 day off of each one of those, you get 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1, minimum of 1 day. And you can heal in 7 days. So if you have enough money, this is going to check and see if you can go to the infirmary, in which case you will heal faster. If you do not have enough money to pay your medical bill, then you can just go back to the stable or back to the tavern, in which case you will heal at the natural rate. Whew. There'll be other levels of healer, or you can go to the tavern, or probably like a temple or something to get magical healing. But I like that natural healing. I think is the real-time natural healing. I think is a pretty neat part of this, because that also means that we can add in other down the road. I got to get the core game loop focused, finished first. But that does mean that, like, down the road, if you're doing other things in your downtime, like making a weapon or having a weapon made for you or something like that, we can have downtime be real time while one character is doing something. You've got a stable of characters, so you can bring another character out to re-enter the blood well or go on an adventure. I think that would be a neat part of it. So that's coded in. But I got to go back, like I said, going back to where I was with the geometry of the blood well is really the next critical thing. Let's see. Stray says, Sable once went to the graveyard. There were no survivors. Stray brought in another character. Let's see. A dust-covered dwarf armorer's apprentice. Charisma 5 dwarf, but HP 8. So what else? The dying. I was trying to work quite a bit on the dying. We didn't really see this here. Let's see if we can get this to trigger over here. We've got a hit die timer here. This is a gnome. That's probably a way too large a die timer for him. It doesn't really matter here because this is just moving things around. Let's see if we can get. Let's increase. Let's give somebody a really good death save right here. Let's give him 4 hit points. Let's whack him with this gel again. Monster melee attack. This guy died again. Okay, so I had a target number of 8 to roll this time. Rolled a 4. Okay, come on now. Let's give this guy 4 hit points. Death save 6. Oh, I'm gonna have to go over here. Let's give him 4 hit points. Let's drop this death save down to 5. Give him a really good death save. Well, we could even do a constitution modifier. I don't think we've seen that yet. Okay. Whack him. Here we go. Oh, okay. Incapacitated. Okay, we haven't seen that yet. Okay, so here, the attacker rolled a 7 points of damage. Target takes 7 points of damage. Current HP is now -3. Uh-oh. Tremendous wound. A 7-point tremendous wound. We are at -3. Base save of 5 plus an overkill value of 3. My target number is 8. Did that take into account Constitution? I don't think it did. It doesn't look like it. I will check on that. But rolled a 10 this time. Roll a 10 meets T an 8, but margin is 5 or less, so I am incapacitated. When you roll that death check, if you succeed by a margin of 5 or less, then you are incapacitated. Fall down, probably unconscious. Incapacitated probably includes unconscious. You fall down, you're unconscious, and you immediately roll your death timer, but that's going to be a secret. You're not going to know your death timer. So right here, like this rolled it, but it didn't print it out. So you take your hit die right here. So and we had it set on 8 right now, and then modify that by your Constitution. So it looks like that worked. So you take a secret roll that is 8, or your hit die plus your Constitution modifier, plus or minus your Constitution modifier, and that's going to be rolled behind the scenes in secret. At the table, you'd like put it under a cup or something like that. Then every time it comes up to your turn again, you turn over a die or something as a public counter for the number of turns that you've been laying there on the ground incapacitated. And then when another player comes over, or bad guy if they're trying to take you captive or something, but when another player comes over to do critical care on you to try to stabilize you and see if you're living, that's when, okay, I'm over at the character now, I'm going to try this out. Is he alive? You know the number of turns that guy has been on the floor because you've been counting that, and then you pick up the cup and reveal how many turns that character, had to die before they would die. And obviously, if, it's been 4 turns and there was only a 2 rolled, then that character has expired. If it's been 4 turns and there was a 6 rolled, then the character is still clinging to life. So you don't know. Not only are you going in a random order, not exactly random, but a random draw order for your initiative, you won't ever know, oh, he still has 3 more death checks to fail, so he's fine. I'm going to go over here and do something else. You really have no idea how many turns it will be before another player is actually dead. So that's going to keep, I think, and I've seen people use this, talk about this on Reddit, that this adds some additional drama to this because no one, including the player who is dying and incapacitated, knows how long they really have to survive. But how long you have to survive does have something to do with your character class because you're using your hit die, also modified by your Constitution. So there we go. One other thing here is that if you pass, this says, I rolled a 10 on my target number of 8, but my margin is 5 or less, therefore I'm incapacitated. If you roll the death save over 5, and I might need to move that to over 3, that's the kind of thing we're going to have to see when I roll a whole bunch of simulations up here, is if you pass by a certain margin right now that is more than 5, you are still up and are reeling. Have a new condition called reeling. So you can only move like half as far or something. But at that stage, you can save yourself. You are reeling. Any further damage you would take then does knock you down to incapacitated. But if you are reeling, you can still grab like a potion from your belt. Or use a wand or a spell to heal yourself. So if you roll the save well enough, you'll be reeling. And if you have enough gear or spells or whatever to save yourself, you will have that option when it comes up to your turn again. And I was thinking, man, I really haven't done enough since last stream. But actually, that's a lot from last stream. I feel like that was I was just like running my mouth over here about like everything. So there's actually a lot more that's been added. I got to clean up the UI and get everything kind of bolted and wired in. But okay, I guess a fair amount of stuff was actually done here. Stray is asking, let's see right here. Are we ever going to be able to name them after a while? Dave was talking about that last time, and I was like, is it possible to name your character? And I think, yes, because I have on my notes over here for the punch list, like, should we be able to say like, bang name, exclamation point name. And then if you typed in, I mean, I think I could do this, exclamation point name, and then type in the name of the character as it exists right now, and then the name of the character as you want it to be. Like, I think that should be possible. But what if we just say, and which is potentially a good idea, if we just have these descriptions, and maybe I need to have some more descriptions and adjectives in there, but that all of the level 0 characters just have a description, like, you know, the penniless dwarf miner or whatever. That's what you are at level 0. Maybe if you make it to level 1, then it activates your ability to name the character. That seems pretty cool to me. So maybe all the level 0 characters, which are going to be processed through this blood well. We'll see who survives. If you're still level 0, life is hard. You don't even get a name. But then once, yes, maybe, that's what I'm thinking. Once you get to level 1, well, then yes, you could bang name son of bacon. Yeah, going into the meat grinder. That's exactly what the blood well is going to be. Well, okay, I'm excited. I was, like I said, I had a long night last night. So was sitting here working today, but didn't get as much done as I wanted to. But now that I've been sitting here talking to you guys, I'm psyched up again. So I guess I'm going to sit here for a few more hours tonight and go back and see if I can get that geometry of the blood well done. That's not going to be a fun thing. But actually, this might be the perfect night to sit here for a couple of hours this evening, maybe have a beer and sit here and process what needs to be processed as far as that geometry goes, so that I can actually start working at that point again. All right, so stuff is being done. All right, I will see everybody later. I appreciate your being here. I will anticipate being here again on Wednesday. And I'm going to try and do as much work as I can over Monday, Tuesday, and during the day on Wednesday. So maybe we'll have a lot of stuff to report back to on Wednesday. I would love to get it actually completely playable. I want to get the whole loop through. But so I will see everybody Wednesday. See you Wednesday. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Later.